Emperors of the Deep by William Mckeever. Read by Tim Andres Pabon. Introduction. Man bites shark. I remember my first experience in the ocean. About 5 years old, I was with my dad, anchored to his broad shoulders. He swam us out past the break, which offered me a panoramic view of the beach, the surf, the distant horizon, a new vantage point that heightened the ocean's tremendous beauty. My dad liked to swim when the surf was strong, with the waves pounding the shoreline, the kind of surf that the lifeguards warn against taking on. My dad always wanted to test his strength against the waves, to see if the crashing wall of water could knock him off his feet. Most of the time, he was left standing. Watching him, I tried to do the same thing, just as any boy might try to emulate his father. One day, when I was 10, the waves were surging, and I summoned the courage to test them. The first wave picked me up and tossed me like a whoopee in the wash. I somersaulted and rolled inside the wave, helplessly ransomed in its grasp until it was ready to spit me out. The sensation of being roiled and tossed and turned and thrown around was totally new. Rather than being scared out of the water forever, I held on to the feeling. I could never predict which way the wave was going to send me. An arm this way, a leg that way, a disorienting feeling I continue to associate with the power of nature. Though a constant source of joy and play for millions of people around the world every day, the ocean was always in charge. My dad and I would go fishing, and the water wasn't always rough. Out at sea in our skiff in Nantucket Sound, south of Cape Cod, we were in prime territory to land big fish. When my father was ready to cast a line, he'd cut the engine, and we'd drift. I remember listening to the sound of the waves lapping the hull of our boat, and the wind blowing through my ears as the boat rocked gently in the water. After a day of fishing, a ghostly swaying in my legs followed me to bed. Sometimes, as I looked out over the sea, I would see a dark spot just below the surface, jutting this way and that. Every now and again I could clearly make out a shark, its beautiful dorsal fin slicing through the water. Once my father caught a dogfish shark, a skinny bottom dweller about 2 or 3 feet long. I remember being struck by how vulnerable the shark looked, thrashing on the boat deck, desperate for oxygen and an escape route back into the water. Though the dogfish is edible, I pleaded with my father to let the shark go. My father gave in, and I was glad to see the fish swim away, rejoining, I hoped, its family and all the other mysterious creatures swimming deep below the surface. Those fishing experiences with my dad deepened my appreciation of the ocean and the majestic creatures that inhabit its unseeable depths. When summer ended and the school year started, I went to the library and read every book I could find about sharks. I wanted to learn about how sharks operate, how they live their lives. I wanted to know what sharks were really like. But every book I picked up portrayed them as killers. On television and on the big screen, too, sharks were cast as man-eaters, out-of-control predators. A character would go swimming in a movie, and a shark would come along and take his leg off. Conversely, dolphins were never portrayed as anything other than pure gold, like an honor student at school, the paradigm of good behavior. Slowly but surely, the prejudice against sharks started to seep into my consciousness. I respected sharks as much as I respected the ocean. Both were beautiful and powerful, and I understood, even at a young age, in full control, I and all the other swimmers and fishermen were simply visitors to the underwater empire, vacationers, day trippers, tourists. While my reverence for the ocean included a deep appreciation of its unpredictable power, my admiration...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?